So if there's that takes a ton of courage. Like that's a super tough decision. Was there like a mindset that like helped you go from like I gotta get out of here, and like yes, of course, like you could still be there and you could probably still be happy.
Mhm.
Like like what if someone's struggling with that decision right now? What advice would you give to that person? It's like I feel like I reached my ceiling, but I like the people I work with, and it's kind of fun. And like sometimes they
Mhm.
let me leave early on Fridays, and they buy me pizza once a month. Like,
I show up to work
do,
hungover.
yeah,
It's all chill, man.
Right.
It's chill. It's yeah, so it's a common thing right now, especially with people our age. We're starting to see that where we were, we might not particularly be happy or fully happy. It's complacent. We're complacent. And I think that, well, for me, I've always wanted more. You know,
Yeah.
I wanted more out of life. I wanted more out of the ability for myself. I wanted more for my family. I wanted more for my friends. Like, I want to do more.
But that's the
And
American
that
way.
was,
Just
yeah,
saying.
yeah,
You know,
America, America. But
America.
America.
no, I'm not gonna say a joke. But anyways, it's like
God bless you, America.
it's like I've always wanted more, and I always knew that my time in San Francisco was limited because it didn't have the entertainment opportunities that it did in San Francisco. And
All right.
for me, yeah,
Mhm.
for me, that's what it was. Like I wanted more, and I know more. I know a lot of people our age, a lot of millennials also want more, which is why there's a huge number of people not going back to McDonald's or not going back to whatever person they work for. Some people have started their own business. Some people started chasing their dreams. Some people even went back to school to choose to find a new career, and it's just a common thing. If I once I get the number, I'll put it on the screen or whatever. But for any advice for them, I've always tell people, because if people ask me that question a lot, is like how did they make that mindset? Is like I always tell people, like, if you're ever thinking about switching careers or doing something different, you always just ask yourself, like, what am I doing right now? Is it making me happy? Am I happy? And if you say yes, maybe stay a little bit longer, see where that would take you. But if you hesitate to say yes, and if it's a maybe or no, then you got to move on.
Mhm.
If you're not happy or you're not enjoying what you're doing right now, it's an internal sign to say, hey, let's go explore something else. Let's try to find a way to better ourselves, or don't, do whatever you want to do. I'm not your life coach. It's you got to do whatever makes you
Mhm.
happy. Like it could be money, it could be a crypto scam, I don't know. It could hashtag save the kids. It could be I don't know, posting sexy pictures on TikTok or Instagram. Do
Or
whatever that makes you
OnlyFans
happy.
or whatever.
OnlyFans.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that, just gotta
Yeah.
like do whatever makes you happy.
Yeah.
And
But do you feel like I feel like that's such a generational thing though, where
Agreed.
it's like do what makes you happy versus like do what's gonna feed your family, do what's gonna raise your kids, do what's going to, raise you. you know.
yeah,
It's a different thing. I think we've kind of unlocked a certain mental awakening. COVID has only reinforced it, where we're spending, if you are staying at home and you have a family, you've seen your family more in the past year and a half than you probably have in their entire life, if you live together,
Yeah.
right? And that has driven some people apart, but a lot of people, it's really kind of reinforced a lot of these family dynamics and these bonds, and like um, that people are not just going to give that up very freely. We have employees right now that are like, I haven't had lunch with my children for 9 years of the first 9 years of their life, and now I really got to do that every day for a year. And if there's any way that I can even do this 2 or 3 days out of the week and continue working from home and coming in the afternoon, or switch, flexi time in the morning or whatever, then like, do we have the flexibility? And we've been trying to say yes to a lot of these things, right?
Yeah.
Because we recognize that like that is how evolution of life and work has to, you can't try to force it to be the pre-COVID thing. You got to kind of roll
Yeah.
with this new awakening.
yeah, because like there's like a good number of people who are choosing to work remotely now, right?
Yeah, but there's a lot more remote jobs, right? I mean,
Yeah.
4 point some of the odd million people left their job in April. That's like the largest ever in American history. You don't leave a job unless you feel like you can go get another one, you
Yeah.
know?
Or make
So,
your own.
or
Yeah.
make your, and that's what I mean. Or like start your own
unhappy.
thing. Or
Yeah.
you're so unhappy and you're like, you know, I'll take the unemployment until it runs out or whatever, you know?
Yeah. I mean, what's it? The unemployment rate right now went back up to 8% because with things opening back up again, I think most people are like, do I want to go back to work at
Yeah.
McDonald's? You know, it's just like, hell
Well,
no.
not for the wage that they're paying people. You know, I think it's
Yeah.
like there's a conversation happening, as we all know right now, where it's like, you know, yes, restaurants and business, like service industry jobs need to be paid higher, you know, especially in some other states that are not California. It's
Yeah.
literally like $7.25 an hour, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think in California, I looked up this number last night. In California, they say 30% of restaurants aren't going to open back up again. But this report came out in August 2020, so the number could be higher or lower. I don't know, but you know, a lot of restaurant jobs did close down, and a lot of services did close down too. And the things we're starting to see is like jobs where we didn't put a lot of focus on or emphasis on have now grown bigger. Like I saw that obviously I think YouTubing is one of them, or just being a life coach, like I never thought of a life coach as a flourishing job, but life coaching is a new field that's going bigger. Or IT and tech, because you know kids need to do Minecraft tournaments, and you know things like that are getting bigger. Like
we had our best year ever last year as a company, you know, because people were looking for that escapism and they were looking for something that they could and spend hours on, and it's an MMORPG, so you know there's plenty.
It's not Blizzard.
Yeah.
It's not Blizzard. So good.
It's not Blizzard. It's not.
Don't go after Lance. He's a good boy.
Yeah. But it's this idea, and I used to play World of Warcraft. I was a huge fan. I played for 6 years of my life, and you know, sold my soul like everybody else to that game. Hours of my life. And
I didn't.
Why I wanted to play why I wanted to work in video games is because I had that passion as a youngster. But yeah, I just going back for a second to the idea that we're, you know, giving people advice, you know, about the direction they should go. Like I felt the pressure to jump, and because I felt that complacency with myself as well. I even though I enjoyed the people I worked with and I was happy, the drive in me wasn't happy, you know? And I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that when I worked and went to school for 7 years in order to earn my bachelor's degree, right? So I was commuting to Long Beach from LA, and like, it was like a constant balancing of plates, you know? And then when life slowed down and I had free time on my hands, I recognized that like, I'm disciplined, but I'm not a self-starter in the way that I need to for my own self. I can do it for an employer, but when it comes to my own things, other than like, you know, make big life decisions, but even things like laundry, you know, it's hard for me to like self-start and get that going, you know. But it's more so like I can manage a whole renovation project, but when it comes to like, you know, learning this fucking you can't see PMP exam prep, you know, book that I have on my desk. It's like that's super hard for me to sit and like drill this in for like 2 or 3 hours, right? Because I feel like I'm still like PTSD from college because it's not that long ago. But yeah, and so during COVID, it's like I focus more on like my workout and my health and fitness journey, and I got a personal trainer like about 2 or 3 months into the pandemic, and we worked out 3 or 4 days a week for an hour each day, and I really started feeling less sedentary and feeling more, you know, some of like the strongest I'd ever been was kind of at certain peak points of quarantine physically, you know, and that was also because my mental health was kind of struggling as well, just with like, you know, being at home and also being a social person like Eric too. I needed like an outlet. So I didn't like teach myself something per se, but I just kind of channeled that energy towards trying to find a healthy outlet that wasn't like smoking, vaping, you know, like
because it's easy to do.
Yeah, it's like it's too easy to do, you know.
You know, actually I actually kind of, you know, I've always been on and off drinking because I'm a social drinker. But when I moved
Mhm.
here, I had like a month or two of like free time where I was hanging out with all my friends. So I drank a lot. But when quarantine happened, I didn't drink for a long time.
Mhm.
And for me, it was like because there's no social aspect to it, I just didn't want to drink. But that's just like another side thing. But
I feel like Zoom happy hours was like so popular though.
But
I was drinking more.
I didn't drink. I mean, during those times, I didn't drink because I thought drinking by myself was a waste of time. Because I don't enjoy being buzzed, but I do enjoy being fucked up at a festival or fucked up at a party. It's like I'm either gonna go sober
All in.
or I'm all in. Like,
Totally.
Yeah.
both of you guys have seen me
Yeah.
all in. Garrett has probably
Yeah.
seen all in Eric more than Lance has, because all in Eric is a different type of Eric. He's
Yeah.
fisting walls and stuff.
Oh my
Oh, that's
God.
great. I
yeah,
love it.
but-
You're getting in trouble.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, dude, we'll talk about this after, but